Okay. Good evening, children. Today I am going to explain about the lesson defining history. Okay. Tell me what is the history? What's the history? Okay. History is learning past things and the past people. So tell me, how do you get knowledge about that past things and the past people? Yes, you can tell from your grandmother, grandfather, your mother, father, and some elders, and the village heads like Ram Sevaka and the priest, village priest, and the school principals, teachers. You can get a very good knowledge about the history that person. Okay, now tell me what is the what is the information you can get that person about our history. As an example, we can say, your grandmother and grandfather in your childhood, they are telling some stories now about the Antaresh stories, about our past kings and the past things. Then they telling about the nice story for you, no? Yes, they what are the things you can learn from them? Sometimes they will tell about our ancient places, Bhubaneswar, then the Temple of the Tooth Candy, if not the Galle Fort and the Nallur Kovil, everything you can get knowledge about that, your relations or close person. Okay, then these stories we can tell folk tales. You know, I told that Andhar story. Andhar is the gist of our past king. He always tried to keep the king happy. Then our grandparents know that stories, and our mother father also know that stories. No, that is the folk tale, and some folk songs. No, some people doing at the paddy field working, they tell some poem, no? That is the folk poem. So our grandmother, grandfather know that poem. So that is the thing we can learn about our history from our grandmother, grandparents and teachers like that. Then what are the other things you can learn about our history? Then historical places I told that what is the Nallur Kovil, there has a very big history, no? Then Temple of the Tooth. The Candy Temple of the Tooth started by the King Vimaladharma Surya. How do you get that knowledge? Then sometimes your parents tell that, your teachers in your history lesson they tell that. If not, you can learn a lot about the books, our past books. You can get that information about that. Then the Galle Fort constructed by the British government. Then they did a lot of things that Portuguese, Dutch, and the English person. So how do you get that knowledge? From the books, and sometimes your teacher will explain that about that Galle Fort like that. Then you can get a very good knowledge about the history. Okay, then we can say is what is history. Then history means learning our past thing and past people. Sometimes our kings, then king's cloth, then king's throne, like that. Everything we can learn from the history. Okay. Then tell me, these every sources we can divide into main two parts. What is that? Literary sources and the archaeological sources. Okay. Then this history we can divide it into main two parts. What is that? Literary sources and the archaeological sources. We can learn every history with these sources. Okay, tell me what is the meaning of literary sources. Literary mean, you know, that's books. Then we can learn our past things, past people, everything from that books. Then what are the books we can learn about our past history? Our first book is the Deepavansha. I think you know that name, Deepavansha. It is our oldest book in Sri Lanka. Then after that, Mahavansha. After Deepavansha, the Mahavansha is our next book. Then who wrote that Mahavansha? Mahavansha wrote the Mahanama Thero, lived in the Mahavihara in Anuradhapura. After that, Chulavansha, Rajavaliya, Pansyapanasjatika, there are a lot of books we can learn our history. Okay, then what is the archaeological sources? Archaeological sources mean the things. What are the things we can learn history? You know, then about our kings, then there are clothes, then there are crown, and past coins, and past places, Ruwandarisaya, Sri Mahabodhya, and the Galle Fort, and the Mena Fort. Every historical things we can get these archaeological sources. Then, okay, tell me, why do you learn this history? What is the importance of the learn this history? Tell me. Okay, we need to learn history to learn our past things and the past people. Actually, without the history, we can't live. No, we have a very proud history in Sri Lanka. So, we as a children, we must know our history. So, you must learn history for that reason. Then, first one, why we learn history? First thing is the we can learn our past things and the past kings and their nice stories. Then how they build up our country like that. Then we can learn the evolutions of the our alphabet. That means you know the letter K. I can take we can take as an example letter K. Our first K letter like this. Then after that it's like this. Then after that, now it's coming like this and like this. Then there are very big evolution. Then 1000 years ago they wrote like this. Then now like this. Then our alphabet system evolution. We can learn, if we are learning history, we can learn about our alphabet evolution. Then what are the things we can learn? You know, our early period, our ancestors faced a lot of difficulties in past years. Then as an example, I can take, then at that time our main livelihood is the doing agricultural things, paddy fields and the chena cultivation. So at that our farmers, our ancestors faced so many difficulties when they are doing these agricultural things. Then we can take that, you know, some years they have to face some antibiotical diseases, then like diarrhea, bacteria like that, fungus. Then they faced so many problems because of at that time that the country is not development and they have no very good technology and so scientific technology for doing some thing for these diseases. So most of paddy fields destroyed with these fungal diseases. Then now we can do something. No, at that time we our agricultural sites, then specialists know our ancestors faced so many problems with this. Now we can solve this problem with doing some solution. So if we are learning history, we can do a better thing for that fast problem. And next one is the if you are learning history, we can make a better future. How do you do that? With that past incident, sometimes our ancestors faced so many difficulties. No, in the future we can solve this problem. No, you know our ancestors, our past peoples faced water problem. Sometimes in the Anuradhapura Polonnaruwa era, they had no enough water. Then after 1,000 years ago, our kings built up a very big tank for the village for their agricultural activities. Now, in our houses, we have a small tank. No, we are not doing the agriculture, but still our Anuradhapura Polonnaruwa and some lot of farmers still doing their agricultural things. Now our government giving all these facilities for them with that fast knowledge. That is the thing. We can make a better future with this past thing, learning of that. I think you can understand why we learn history. Then what are the things we can get after learning this history? Then our Buddhism students, they can learn about their Lord Buddha's birth and the enlightenment and the parinibbana. Everything they can learn with this learning history. And the Christian students, they can learn about their Jesus, how he is born, then what are the difficulties he faced, then how he died. Like that they can learn a lot of things. And the Islam students also like that, they are puppet the Muhammad, then what he did for the Islamic students and the Islamic religion. When we are learning history, you can know and learn this everything with this history lesson. And the years of the kings, what is the year they established this kingdom. Then our last kingdom is the Kandyan kingdom. Then how Anuradhapura kingdom changed to the Kandyan kingdom, and who was our last kings, and what they did for our country, why they changed our country, how that British people captured our country. Everything you can learn with this learning history. Okay, I think the lesson is now enough. Okay, good night, children.